Well, hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up. What is your relationship with your money? I hope everybody is doing well. Before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Word meaning share this information with somebody else and not just share it. Go grab your sister girl. Sometimes you gotta pull them over and say, look, I got something good for you. Just have a seat. Trust me. I got your best interest at heart, right? So, alrighty, let's roll on over to Grandma's cookie jar and see what kind of goodies. Y'all know I had a muffin today. It was a was it ginger? You all know my favorite ginger, right? It was a ginger muffin. It was triple ginger, and man, I tell you, it was delicious. Cane sugar, so we had a little sugar in there, but we can treat ourselves every once in a while. But it was delicious, delicious, delicious. But anyhow, let's see what Grandma's cookie jar is saying for us today. I'm looking over my shoulder, and Sister Girl over here says, "Let it snow." Well, my daughter, she had the right idea. She said, "Hit the snooze alarm, or have winter hit the snooze alarm." And man, we're in Michigan, and you could look up 1 minute. This is Michigan weather. Looking up 1 minute, and you got sun, and all of a sudden you're driving into rain, or then you might drive into snow. And I was talking to my daughter yesterday, as a matter of fact, and she said, took a little time out to look around, and actually it's beautiful. So it's really in what we see, right? Is how we see it. So I can look out the window and I can see how beautiful the snow looks, or I can go around just mad about it because people don't know how to drive in it, and traffic took me an hour and a half to get home yesterday. People just don't know how to drive, especially during that first snowfall. Everybody is either driving too fast or afraid to drive because they're sliding in. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. But anyhow, let's see what nuggets Grandma's cookie jar have for us today. Ooh, I like this. I like this. I love inspirational quotes or sayings, and Grandma's cookie jar, just like Grandma's wisdom, is full, full of information. And oftentimes we don't even pay attention to the stories, the rich stories that are passed down from generation to generation. Well, it wouldn't it bear the reason that if somebody else then hit their head on a brick wall, you don't have to go test that brick wall to know that that brick wall hurt. We can just pivot and turn and go down a different path. So you are limitless. I absolutely love that. And here we are. We've been on this. Now is the time. We often procrastinate and don't move forward into dreams and desires and goals. And I think sometimes it's because, we are kind of, sometimes we're afraid. We all are afraid of something. Just, admit it. Some of us, don't admit that we are, but we're all afraid of something. So if we can get past those fears, because on the other side of that fear is everything that we want. So I love listening to great speakers and teachers and mentors and coaches. Some of my favorite motivational speakers. I talk about Lisa Nichols all the time because theirs are just so motivation. And I love the grit that Eric Thomas talks about. He talks about getting up and how he, began, his career. And oftentimes the common threads that you see in these success stories are people, they didn't stop. They didn't quit. When things got hard, they didn't stop. They just kept going, kept moving forward, kept moving forward. And, I said yesterday, it was really, really very challenging for me. I had a very challenging day. And as I moved through it, and, sometimes we just have to, pray about it, meditate on it, press forward, have positive people around us so that they can pour into us as we pour into them. I think about or liken it to a bank account. With a bank account, we have to put something in order to get something out. And that's what we do. We have relationships that are, depositing, and we're depositing. So if you have a relationship where somebody is withdrawing, you're doing all the depositing, you have to rethink that relationship. And I was going through a workshop, and the workshop had us to draw a wheel, and we started writing all of the things that we sent out, meaning all of the things that we do for other people, and all of the things that they are actually or people are depositing in, and look at those relationships. And if you look at those relationships and you're doing all the pouring, it might be time for you to start establishing some new relationships that are going to be mutually beneficial, meaning that everybody wins. And that is the goal. So I wanted to talk about, I was listening to one of my mentors, Dr. George Fraser, in one of his, talks that he was speaks or talks or workshops, whatever you want to really call them, but they're learning sessions. He talks about in order to succeed. So before we get started with the list, make sure you have your notebook out, your pen and your paper. Again, yes, this is another notebook. And I talked about this before, Solo Brunis Vibra. I believe me and my daughter went through it, and we don't speak Spanish, but I believe it said sending positive vibes or solo vibes or something like that. But we know solo good vibes is what we deciphered it to be. So anyhow, your notebook and your pen handy. You should have chapters right now building on each one of our topics. That's how the Smart Money Circle helps you, and we bring value to you by giving you these steps. And as you're mapping it out, you'll be able to say, wow, now I have a plan. It's not a plan now. When you don't have a plan, you still have a plan, right? Because it's a plan not to succeed. Because if you are going to California, or where else can I say now, to Vegas, you don't just take your car and just point it in a direction. You need to know which freeway. You need to know what's the plan, where's the map. So that's the same thing when we're planning out being successful in our lives and our money, being successful, period. It's about learning the necessary steps, the necessary tools, having necessary people around you, because no man is an island. And we come out as babies. We don't know, all we know is that somebody, if I yell, somebody is going to cry, somebody's going to feed me, change me, make sure I'm safe, make sure I'm okay. That's what we know. But as we go through life and we start experiencing different experiences, we hide those things into our memory, and then we respond or react to based on our past. So in order for us to achieve different things, it is necessary for us to grow, for us to expose ourselves to maybe things that may be a little bit uncomfortable for us, because growing is growing pains. I remember when my son was growing up, he was playing base. No, he was football. My youngest daughter was baseball and basketball. My son was football, and then my oldest daughter was, well, first she was dance, and she made a pivot over to, she was dance first for a couple of years, then she pivoted to marching band. And that was a big shift for us as well. But going back to my son and the growing pains, he started growing, and he's over 6 foot tall now. He was growing and his legs were hurting because they were stretching. But that's how we are when we're growing, even if it's growing in our capacity to move forward. Because once our brain is expanded, it never goes back to its original size. So man, we just keep expanding it every day, learning and pouring more into it. Dr. George Fraser talks about how he's read over 100 books. And I believe he does, I'm not going to misquote him, but there's an amazing amount of books that he reads in 1 year compared to what we read in a month. But it's very, very important and the key part to our growing and reaching our goals to be able to do that. So let's talk about one of the things that he said. In order to succeed, you must, and this is from his list. In order to succeed, one, we must learn, right? And that's self-explanatory. We just pick up something and learn it every day. If it's learning a word from the dictionary, if it's listening to a positive motivational speech, or if it's any of those things. I forgot to mention Les Brown. I talked about the people that motivated me and that I've gleaned from as motivational speakers. Les Brown, talked about Eric Thomas, talked about Lisa Nichols, Napoleon Hill. I can go through my list. Earl Nightingale. There's just so many that just I've listened to them and watched them move, and that was just an incredible thing for me. As far as, let's go back to the list here. I'm all over the place today, y'all. Learn first. And that's what we're talking about, all the different ways to learn. You learn from people that are in your circle every day. You should be, we talk about that depositing and withdrawing. Fail. Man, we are so afraid of failure. But failure can help us to learn. It teaches us what not to do. It teaches us what to do by not doing that same thing again. So if we talk about, one, not learning enough in order to know how to diversify your assets. That was like huge for me. I tell everybody over and over again, I got so excited when I learned about or somebody's family, opened that door and I started listening to Dr. George Frazier's of the world, start being coached by Coach Michael Bart Matthews and coached by Robbie Matthews. And I can't just keep calling out names because there's so many people that have been in touch my life that helped me to move forward and to get out of a place. Sometimes you can be stuck in a place. My one of my sister girls was, always speaking into my spirit. And I'm going to have her own, so I'm not going to mention her name right now, but there are several people that have been so instrumental in helping me to overcome challenges and to move to the next level. So the same thing, I'm just saying, look at the rich resources that you have around you. So don't be afraid to fail. It's a part of the whole cycle of succeeding. I'll go through the list a little bit quicker though. Have grit. Grit, that's one of my favorites because that's that digging to get to the next place. Just digging. Just keep digging, right? Being persistent, never giving up, no matter what. But again, Lisa Nichols says, winners never quit and quitters never win. You keep that in your head. And she would talk about her story when she was racing and running, and she didn't even know she had won because that was her focus. Her focus was getting it, grit, persistence, keep going in your head. And it is what you say, what you tell yourself when nobody else is listening. So that's to be persistent. Use coaching. I talk about that all the time about coaching. It's so important. No great player ever won by themselves. They were shooting. I need a little bit more tea. Shooting. You have to think about that. She kept telling herself, trot, running. Was it running, swimming, whatever it is. Winners never quit, quitters never win. Persistence, right? All great players have coaches, mentors, coaching you, helping you along the way, getting in your face when you slack off. Iron sharpening iron. Awesome. Mentors, people that have done it before you, that have achieved what you have achieved and achieved what you want to achieve, and that are willing to assist you to get there. Mentors. What about intentional focus is one of them. We've been on that, our team, we've been on intentional focus. It's like that sun, just focusing on that one thing so that they can we've never got the book out or the books out. Partnerships are born. Like-minded people going in the same direction. You definitely want like-minded people. If you have people in your boat that's poking holes while you're going forward, what's going to happen? If you don't get them holes patched up and get that person to run the same way or kick them off that boat, you're never going to get there. Key, very important, intentional focus. Keep your eye on the prize. Not watching everybody else, because if you're watching what everybody else is doing, now that focus, intention, your focus is off. It's not about what everybody else is doing. It's about what path are you on, how you going to get there, surrounding yourself with like-minded people to keep going in that direction. People that are going to compliment you, because, again, you might be left-brained, where you are crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and all that. Or you might get with me, and it is a challenging, because I am right-brained all the way. Now, I had to adjust because I had to be able to do some of the other things, meaning make sure the books are done and make sure, and I'm telling you, that's the last thing that I tackle because that is not my strong suit. I like to create systems and processes and procedures and find out, okay, here, this is how we get this done. Or hey, we can paint the whole sky blue. We can do this. That's mine. I'm the jumper out the plane. Come on, y'all. I done found this whole space for us to jump off of, and it's a treasure chest right here. I'm not the one that said, hold on. We need the parachute. We need to X off where we're gonna land. I'm like, come on, y'all do that. Here I go. I'm jumping off the plane, right? So you have to have good, solid people around you to help you so you don't jump out that plane and whoops, not be able to figure it out on the way down. So keeping your eye on the prize. And then the last thing he gave us was take measured action. So meaning that action that you can measure it. You can quantify it. You need to know if I spend a year, like we said with one of the programs that we're in, we said give it a year because it's an amazing money tree. Shake it loose and it'll fund and everything else that you want to do. But you find your money tree. And that's one of the secrets there. I'll add this to the list, Dr. Frazier, if you don't mind. The money tree. I've been talking about it for years. And so you might scratch this and try this, but find your focus, write it all out and say, okay, I got to shake loose me a money tree. Because then you can go fund these other things. And actually the staff of left brainers to help keep up with me, the right brain creative. So man, oh man, I could go on and on and on about this, but if we write those things down and really pay attention, I'm excited because when you hear your mentors talking about the steps that you're taking, it's a, what do you call it? I want to call it, it is a confirmation. It's confirmation that you're on the right path and you're doing what is necessary. All righty, let's go over this list one more time to make sure you have it in your notes. It is, in order to succeed, you must learn, fail, have grit, be persistent, use coaching and mentors, intentional focus, keep your eye on the prize, and take measured action. And I think I want to add something else. Quitters never win, winners never quit. Winners never quit, quitters never win. Keep that in your mind so when things get hard or rough, you'll pick it all back up and you'll keep going, leaving those broken pieces to the side and saying, whew, let me pick a couple of these out of my elbows and out of my knees. Okay, gotta get back up. Here we go. Grit, right? Grit. All righty. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. You never know who needs encouragement. And sometimes your girlfriends might not be able to hear from you, but they may hear from me or something can help them. So don't forget again to listen, learn, and leverage the information. Bye for now. Y'all stay fearless.